What is up, everybody? We can just not stop getting breaking new promotional material for Star Trek Strange New
So
Worlds. We just can't
good.
catch a break. Yeah, this is exactly what I predicted. Those of y'all that have been keeping up with our latest content. Yesterday, we just did a live stream like this yesterday afternoon talking about those character promos that we got all week long. And I said, yeah, in a few days we'll get a proper trailer. Watch. I was not expecting it to be today on a Sunday of all days. I was like, they'll probably do it on First Contact Day, Tuesday, or save it for Chicago. But no, we have. This is really and truly, this is the first full trailer for the show, right? We had
Mm-hmm.
the teaser trailer a few weeks ago with the shuttlecraft and the horsey. We had the character promos. Those are all little 30-second long spots. But this is a full-fledged, like, minute and a half long trailer for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and some beautiful promotional art that we have. This is like the second poster. The first poster had the horse and the cowboy hat in the desert. This has the entire crew. It's not just the Pike show, it's Pike and Friends, Pike and Company, and the beautiful Enterprise is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Trek, is that great Constitution class beauty there. So yeah, look at that loveliness.
Gorgeous. This key art is like insane. I'm also watching the trailer like on nonstop on mute in the background, and it's just like so beautiful. Like this show is gonna be great. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it does look very stunning. Just the retrofuturism designs that they're going with, the colorful spirit of the original series. The alien designs have kind of this classic look to them. I love how we're seeing some very ambitious but practical effects, as well as
Yeah.
the common CGI stuff. It's really and truly like, think how like early Discovery, like early season one. I'm not saying that stuff was bad, but just think it like, it was kind of like dark and gritty, and they were very much leaning into like redesigning things and making everything look like super serious and modern. And think of that to like now, just a few years later in Strange New Worlds, how it's such a completely different direction, where they're going very colorful, very otherworldly, and instead of trying to, I guess, give the franchise a facelift, this is more like going back to its roots.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Even with the humor too, like there's a lot of humor in this trailer. I feel like also throughout these like promos that they've given us for the characters, there's been like this delightful kind of humor. I don't think it's over the top. I love it. Like that kind of like Pike, dropping in on that delegation in the beginning or whatever's happening, and he's like, "Hi, sorry to interrupt." Like I love that kind of stuff.
I love that we have our live audience here with us. Jill47 is saying that it looks stunning. She's stunned. Joel is commenting on the gorgeous ship-to-ship combat.
Mm-hmm.
Cake is Eternal is here as well, saying lots of combat in general. Swords, arrows, phasers. Oh my, yeah. It's and I'm glad to have you two, Starfleet Boy and Marcelo, here with me to kind of walk everyone through this trailer that just dropped a couple hours ago.
Yeah. I'm really excited because from the promotional material that we've seen so far and this beautiful trailer that we got presented to us today, it really looks like an episodic Star Trek that we haven't really had since the 90s. And I'm really looking forward to that type of storytelling, as well as the serialization. But I'm really looking forward to going back
Enterprise did it in the Zeros.
Right. But in reference to like new Star Trek, this is the first time
Lower
that
Decks does it, and Prodigy a little bit maybe, but
Right.
the first live action that's unapologetically doing that. And a big part of that is that's what streaming services wanted, was serialized shows. Like they never had the option to make Discovery or Picard episodic. Like that just wasn't a choice. CBS All Access, later Paramount Plus, said like, no, you have to make it serialized. That's what all of the streaming platforms do these days. But with Strange New Worlds, they are given that ability. So, and maybe if Strange New Worlds is as popular as it seems to be becoming now, before it's even out, maybe we'll see that influence spread across the other shows as well.
The other thing that I like quite a bit is that I don't know if it's just me or if they actually did something to it, but there's a quick shot of Pike in the chair. And I'm like, did they change the chair? Did they take away that ridiculous high platform that the original chair had?
They
Because
changed
if
it in Discovery. It looked different in Discovery than it did in the original series.
Okay,
when
okay.
they
So
showed
I'm
it
not
there.
okay. So I'm not crazy.
No.
They did tweak it. Okay, because I'm pleased with that little change.
Yeah.
The chair you're talking about, Pike's captain's chair.
Yeah.
It still
Oh, I
sits
thought he
high.
was talking about the chair, like the
No.
chair he's in when he's injured.
No,
Oh,
it
no,
still
no.
sits, Marcel. It still sits on the first level, and then it dips down into the
Okay.
where and then below is the con.
Is
but
that platform?
no, it's sitting on like a little dais. It sits on its own, like on a little
Oh.
platform, just like in the original series.
okay,
They haven't
okay.
changed that at all, and I
Okay.
like that, and it makes sense from a camera when you're shooting from the front. That way, the console doesn't block the cat. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
Yeah,
practical,
chair.
let's
but
just
yeah.
get into the trailer.
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of,
let's do it.
we'll see the chair when it shows up.
The
in here.
chair.
But yeah, a lot of this is stuff that we've had glimpses of before, which I'm okay with. I don't want them to give away too much story. I like that they've kept a lot of these stories, kind of keeping a lot of that stuff in the dark. But I do think there's a good chance that we go to Stratos, the planet from the original series episode Cloud Miners, or at least a similar planet that also has architecture up in the clouds and floating cities based on some of these shots. Did y'all recognize these aliens here that are having some type of political debate? Did y'all?
I was gonna ask
a classic
you,
Star Trek race.
Who is this?
Don't know who this is?
No.
Marcelo, you don't know the big Enterprise dude in the room? These are the Antarans, right? They're the people that Phlox's grandma was racist against. The Antarans.
Really? Oh my God, you're right. They are the Antarans.
Yeah, that dude's
couldn't-
straight up an Antaran, right?
Okay.
Right
Okay.
on. And what do we know about? I don't remember the Antarans from Enterprise. And I watched the show.
I can't. I completely.
What was it about the Antarans? What was that episode? Or is it just a mention? Or
No,
they
no,
just
no,
drop a
no,
mention?
no. They were racist against Phlox people.
It was the other way. Phlox's people. Well, it was like a mutual thing.
Right.
I'm starting to remember this episode, I think.
Right.
But yeah, they've shown up on lower decks also. There's been an Antaran on the crew of the Cerritos.
Oh, that's right.
But I like the whole thing of Pike's arrival here when he just interrupts their debate and beams right in the middle of it.
Pretty
Awkward.
funny.
But yeah, like a lot of shots of the Enterprise within a planet's atmosphere. I don't know if that's don't they have like a line in The Naked Time about how that doesn't work? You can't have the ship can't survive re-entry. Maybe that was just that specific situation. They were going to come in too hot.
I think it was that situation. I think the ships. I like the ships coming into the atmosphere because.
I mean, if the NX-01 could do it
Yeah.
in Enterprise, then I don't see why a 100-year later ship wouldn't be able to do the same thing.
That's one of the things I love about the Kelvin scene where the Enterprise is underwater. I know there's a lot of pressure or whatever. It's different from space, but it seems like if your ship is airtight, it could also be waterproof. You know,
I like
it's
the way that Futurama handled that when their ship went underwater and they're saying like, oh, it's like 300 atmospheres of pressure outside. How many can the ship handle? And the professor says, well, since it's a spaceship, it can handle any amount of atmospheres from 0 to 1. But the Enterprise is made of sterner stuff, isn't she?
She certainly is.
Yeah, there's Pike up on his
Yeah, there's a platform.
up on his
you were right.
platform. Yeah, you have to take a step up to get to the captain's chair. One compliment I've always heard a lot of people give the original series bridge that this bridge is highly based on, though, is from the captain's perspective, you can see every station.
That's cool. Yeah,
You see what
that's a good
everyone's
point.
doing. So if someone's like slacking off playing solitaire on the work computer, you can see it.
They can see it.
Do people still play solitaire on their computer?
No one plays solitaire on their computer anymore.
Sorry.
No, I'm sure there are people who play it.
If you see someone playing Pokemon Go on their phone or whatever people play now.
But yeah, we get like all these different angles that are very similar to TOS also. Like that's like, I feel like just the angles are very...
Spock turning around from the science station.
From the science station.
Uhura at the communications station.
Yeah.
They put them in like similar places. But Cake is Eternal is pointing out that's a new navigator, right? And yeah, this woman right here, I don't think we've seen her in any of the previous stuff.
Previous stuff, yeah. It would be kind of a cool tradition, like when Chekhov wasn't there, they always had someone filling in. Like
Yeah, season one of
it's
the
like-
original series, that was the guest star seat.
That was a guest star seat.
Bailey in
yeah.
the Carbomite maneuver, or Styles and Balance of Terror,
Right.
or Riley in whatever episodes had Riley, and
Yep.
Gary Mitchell. In
Gary Mitchell, yep.
Where No
So
Man
I
Has
feel
Gone
like that
Before,
could
yeah.
be the guest star seat, maybe.
Sohel, you were right. You called this correct yesterday when we were talking about the character promos. Yeah, this little rec area, the rec room, is, I guess, in the front of the ship. Is it the front of the saucer? I think it'd be kind of cool if it was like in the front of the neck section, but I don't know if
It's actually the
wouldn't
front.
you see the saucer, like the underbelly? If
I think this is on top. So you saw how if you go back to the shot of the Enterprise over the city right there, you see how it has these wraparound windows that start at the top of the saucer
Yeah,
and then kind of.
so
So that's what those
what
are.
we're looking at.
That's what we're looking at. So we're probably looking at
Okay.
that first. It's probably like the equivalent of 10 forward. And someone was saying, I think it was Aaron, that it's like 6 forward
Yeah,
or
that
someone.
was
By the way,
Brian,
shout out
I
to
think, who
Aaron.
said that.
Oh, Brian, yeah. So it's like deck 6 forward or something like that instead. But they won't call it that. I think 10 forward's a unique thing to Enterprise D's lounge. So I'm sure they'll just call it like the recreational lounge or whatever. But it's a big one.
Or the bar.
Right now, every ship has to have a bar. the Enterprise romper room. I like that, Joel.
Yeah, well, they just had the rec room on the original series, is all they
Yeah.
called it. I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if they
right.
ever did they ever drink alcohol in there?
Probably.
should.
They ate
We normally saw people
strange-shaped
drinking
fruits.
You go back to your quarters to drink, or do it in sick bay. Dr.
Father
McCoy
is-
kept a bottle of and brandy around for medicinal purposes.
Is this high res enough to see if the food is like little Play-Doh squares?
I think the lighting isn't good enough, but yeah, they should be eating colorful Play-Doh.
Play-Doh
chunks of
squares.
food.
Chunks of
They
food
should
and
not
stuff
be
like
eating
that.
that.
I love the transporter effect. It's very spot on to the
It's
original
the
series.
gold glitter.
Gold, yep.
Joel in our live audience is saying Scotty drink everywhere.
He did. It's true. I hope the arc bar is half nice. From the pictures I saw, it is Arthur. It's a pretty cool looking spot. I love these environmental spacesuits. How they're actually kind of, to me, they do echo the TOS ones with that little front panel.
Yeah, this little front plate here. It does
Yeah.
look like the TOS version. There's a group shot of them wearing them on the ship in a minute, but it's like out of focus, and then it fades to black really fast, so you don't get a great look. But yeah, they're walking around on the comet that I think is going to impact a planet.
Yeah, it looks
one of
like
these
that's what that
episodes.
is. And there's something on that comet. If it's all related, there's some kind of alien structure or something on the comet. I also like it's not as tall as the helmets, the EV suits in TOS, but there's still like the glass still goes like way higher than you would like think it would, and it has that effect of an elongated helmet. So I do appreciate that. Like there's like a nice design language callback to those, which I think is cool.
The moment that stood out to me here, which I saw before in the trailer that was only shown on the internet one time during that investors meeting thing, but Pike saying, "I love this job," to number one.
That's
And then
pretty
her
cool.
reaction, like they feel like they've been working together for a long time. I like the idea that we're gonna get to see like that friendship on screen that they kind of hint at the cage, that they had like a bit of a history, but they got in like that weird 60s sexism where Pike is like, it's weird having a woman on the bridge, but not you, number one, you don't count.
Right.
So I think they can handle that a little bit better today, but
I think, you know what? I think they're gonna. I mean, call me crazy, but I think they're gonna get together.
well, we see him getting together with someone in the trailer in just a moment.
Oh yeah.
Isn't
we
that
do.
yeah? But I thought, when I saw that, I thought that was number one, wasn't it?
No,
Or
I
was it
don't think it
somebody
was
else?
number one. Yeah, it's someone else.
Someone with much curlier hair.
I have a feeling Pike doesn't mingle with his crew, but I don't know. We'll see.
Jill47, our live audience, is saying she doesn't even know who the showrunner is, and the
Akiva
showrunner,
Goldsman.
Jill, is a writer of your favorite Batman movie, Batman and Robin, Akiva Goldsman.
Yep.
But it's also I think his name is Charles Alonzo Meyer, right? I'm trying to.
Mhm. Charles Alonzo Meyer and the other gentleman too. I can't remember his name. But Akiva Goldsman he actually wrote the teleplay for episode 1 with a story by Alex Kurtzman and Jenny Lumet, which is Jenny Lumet is Alex Kurtzman's writing partner. So
Yeah, Akiva was like the big force in getting this show off the ground. I don't know who's going to be doing the actual like head writer of the writers' room duties throughout the course of the show, and if that changes over time. I mean, most Star Trek show, really every Star Trek show, now that I think about it, has changed showrunners at some point.
But I think for the most part, it's going to be Akiva Goldsman and those two gentlemen that we mentioned just a couple of seconds ago.
Yeah, the show is kind of Akiva's baby. He was the one from the beginning of work on Discovery. He wanted to do a spin-off Pike show. He really pushed for that, and I think when I've mentioned this before, but I think when they did that episode New Eden in season 2 of
it was a trial
Discovery.
For this.
Yeah, Akiva wrote that as like a proof of concept for Strange New Worlds. Let's do a Planet of the Week story starring our boy Pike.
Yeah.
Here's that other shot of the environmental suits I mentioned.
I'm digging it. It's very the right stuff.
Yeah, it fades to black very quickly, so it goes from like out of focus to fade to black. So not great if you want to get a good look at that, but I guess this is probably the best look at it. But
yeah,
I'd be curious what people in our live audience think about things like the ship, environmental suits, uniforms, phasers,
or sickbay, which is coming up in one of these shots.
Sickbay, yeah,
double story.
How you feel about these updated
Sets,
looks?
Yeah. These looks, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of sickbay, have some chapel and Mbenga medical action in a gigantic sickbay.
I love the sickbay. Look at that. We got a sickbay with multiple layers. Yes.
Though it looks so big, it kind of bothers me if this is the Enterprise sickbay, because I think it's like just too huge.
They were like, Father, we can't make engineering enormous, so we're gonna just do it to sickbay. We're gonna just that's the thing that'll be the least offensive to Trekkies, is if we just went crazy with sickbay.
Given the medical staff we see here, all of these blue shirts running around,
that's a big medical
and white shirts. I actually think this might not be on the Enterprise. This might be at a starbase. Or something.
It's an interesting. An interesting call out. It does evoke the Discovery season 3 episode with Nan, where she departs. They were looking down from an above level.
Oh yeah, but even that wasn't on a ship. That was
right. That was a starbase. So that's what
that's
why I was saying. Like maybe it is. You're right. Maybe starbases have these like bigger. Sickbay sets. So I kind of think that's going to be the case here.
Because if you go watch our character promo stream that we did yesterday, that people should check out, but there is a shot in the Mbenga promo of number 1 coming into this set and passing out on the floor. And I think that they're going to do some type of like medical episode, some type of like virus is taking over, everyone's getting infected type episode, which I don't know if people are really in the mood to see after the last 2 years, but I guess we're getting a pandemic story. So maybe they're at like a hospital base or something like that.
Yeah. Or it could be a hospital ship, too, that's accompanying the Enterprise. I'd like to see team-ups of different types of ships and different kinds of, aspects of Starfleet. And the only other medical ship I think we've ever seen, as far as I can remember, is the Pasteur. And
that was the idea that Roddenberry had back in the 60s, was doing a spin-off of Star Trek starring Dr. Mbenga on the starship.
Oh, right on.
That would have been a medical ship.
Would have been a medical ship. So yeah, maybe this is a medical ship. It'd be cool. What if we meet him on the Hope and he comes aboard the Enterprise or something? That'd be cool.
I mean, they could always, actually implement that early idea that Gene had.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, I mean, my pitch for a Star Trek series takes place on a starship that is actually a medical ship. So there is that.
We get more footage of the storm planet, wherever there's like a storm rolling in on a planet in one of these episodes that we've pieced together from the previous material. And there's also going to be an Amok Time style episode. There's
That's
a Pon
awesome.
Farr story in season 1.
That's awesome.
Which makes me think it's in the year 2260, but everyone keeps saying 59. But I think this is going to be 7 years before Amok Time.
It has to be, right? Like if you're gonna, you can set your clock by a Pon Farr cycle.
Well, maybe
Can you? I
they'll
don't
have a
know. Can you?
reason for like maybe like Spock is going to be able to stretch it out for an extra year or something. I don't know.
And that's why he's so insane. Like that's why he's
do
about
it.
to die.
Just do it in 2260.
That's why he's so insane. That's why he's about to die.
You can do 5 seasons of the show. You do 2260, then 61, 62, 63, 64, and then you have Kirk take over in 65. It all fits.
So
There you
you
go.
think if the show is like tremendously popular, you still think that they're only going to do 5 years and they're not going to stretch it out?
It's very, very hard for these prestige format shows to last longer than that, and you know
Right.
you have to pay your actors more and more every year the longer you
That
go
is true.
on.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, and you know, for all I know, like in the contract, Anson Mount is probably like promised like only for 5 years or something like that. That's pretty common stuff. I mean,
Right.
it could go longer, but I think they'd have a hard time for multiple reasons of stretching it out.
Right.
I mean, who says that they have to do one season every year? You know, if it's only 10 episodes, you could do 30 episodes and say it all took place in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Hey guys, I just got a notification that we have about 40 some odd folks watching this. If you guys will please smash the like button so that Tex-Trek gets a boost and we can get him to his next milestone in terms of subscribers, and subscribe it. Well,
Yeah, so hit the
while you're at
subscribe
it too.
button, please, because we're trying to build up that subscriber base.
We'd appreciate it here on Tex-Trek.
We do the weekly Tex-Trek podcast every Friday discussing the new episodes, and you can listen to that as a podcast or watch it here on YouTube. But yeah, we definitely want to boost the YouTube subscribers so we can get more options of what we can do here and make more and better content. Let me ask you about like this creature they encounter. I think this might be the crashed Constitution class that we saw on the snow planet
right on,
we talked
yeah.
about yesterday. But look at this practical effect. That's a puppet.
Yep.
That's cool.
Scary looking dude.
That
I
is a
think-
scary looking dude.
I think this also combined with the alien we saw yesterday, or that we talked about yesterday in the Uhura promo, that guy who looked very much like practical makeup with maybe a little bit of CGI enhancements. I like that we're getting like a return to these kind of practical effects that you might say it's kind of old-fashioned or kitschy or whatever, but I think the guy who popularized that in recent years is your homeboy, kind of an unpopular name in some circles, but Marcelo, I'm talking about J.J. Abrams. When he
Yeah.
went over to the other Star franchise, he really leaned in like, you know, that classic vintage type of reliance
Puppets,
on
right?
practical effects.
and
Yeah,
puppets
things like
and stuff.
puppets and rubber
But-
masks and stuff.
But I think a nice blending of the two works well. Like if you can use puppets with a little bit of enhancement with CGI or CGI assist, I think it works really well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to play.
Yeah.
So this is more shots of the planet that I think might be Stratos, but it also kind of seems like Renaissance planet and reminds me of Billups and Star Trek Lower Decks.
It would be so funny if it actually is the Renaissance planet. Like that would be great.
These people almost look like Star Trek Discovery Klingons, right?
Oh yeah, a little
Kind
bit.
of, yeah.
But they're happy. It looks like Enterprise helps them solve a drought or something like that.
Yeah,
'cause
they're
happy
out
to
in
have
the desert,
rains.
but they're celebrating in the rain. So maybe this is that storm planet that
Oh, maybe, yeah. It's
that
true.
we saw Pike and Spock on earlier in this trailer, and in the promos we talked about yesterday. In the Una promo, I believe Una is down there talking about the storm is moving in. Then whatever this golden object is.
Yeah, it looks like it's a ship that's like. It looks like they're on the hull, maybe, of the Enterprise. It looks like they're on the saucer
What?
section. I
Or
don't
it's
know.
like
I'm just
motion picture, like V'ger type stuff.
First
type
of all-
stuff. Yeah.
First of all, how come if they're on the if they're
I'm
on the hull
guessing
of the
this
ship,
is-
how come they're not floating away?
Well, that's
How
what I'm
come
saying.
they're
I'm
not
guessing
choking
there's
for
some.
air.
I mean, who knows? There's something going on though. They're
I
on
mean,
some
it
kind
happened. It happened inside of V'ger.
Of, that's right.
Right.
I mean, and
Uh,
that's a cool looking solar sail gold shippy thing. I don't know what. it
Yeah, I'm not.
is, but yeah.
These are very alien-looking ships, matching some of these very alien-looking characters we're seeing. This dude is kind of grumpy. He says this is blasphemy or something like that, and kind of
we
rejects
just talk?
Pike's offer. Yeah, yeah,
I
can we just
love,
have like a friendly chit chat here, but no,
Yeah.
he's gonna open fire.
Nope.
Some people
I
were saying
love,
that was going to be an Orion ship. when we saw it in the previous promotional material, but
Yeah.
no, that is this dude's this cranky dude's ship. That ain't no Orion.
I love Carl Holland on your Facebook audience says Iconians. I swear, like everyone thinks the Iconians.
Everyone thinks everything's Iconian.
Iconians.
Remember the Red Angel? We all thought that was going to be
The
Iconian.
Iconians. Yeah, it's true. It's like everyone just bring the Iconians back. All right. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Look at that. Beautiful. This is Vulcan, I guess, right? Or yeah, this is Vulcan, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
I didn't think this was, but it might be. They kind of, as Brian pointed out yesterday when we were talking about the character promos, they kind of gave Vulcan a little bit more of a hellish look in Strange New Worlds, which I'm all about. But I do want to point out the AR wall looks fantastic in a lot of this footage we're seeing. I think Discovery did a great service to Strange New Worlds, and that Discovery Season 4 kind of allowed them to test out and fine-tune how to use the AR wall.
Mm-hmm.
The way they were using it towards the end of Season 4 of Discovery was a lot better than the way they were using the A wall at the beginning of Season 4. And, you know, it used to always be like these giant, huge open spaces, and then you might have like a few rocks on set, but it always was like this big, huge open space or this big, huge round room. And then I think later they figured out like, oh no, we need to like populate more like details and stuff in there to make it feel like a
Lived in space.
yeah, like, you know, like some where stuff is happening, you know,
Right,
lived in.
right.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff that they're showing here looks fantastic, and it's probably a great asset to have in your arsenal if you're telling stories of new planets every week, you know, creating those new environments.
What is Spock's betrothed's name again? Is it T'Pring?
T'Pring.
Right? Yeah, T'Pring. So this is
They're about to pring onto each other.
We should probably kiss. That sounds logical. This is an interesting twist on what we know from TOS. I guess we don't know a lot. I mean, there's room, right? There's room for like new stories on this. But yeah, I got the impression after watching Amok Time that this is the first time Spock had seen T'Pring since they were children. So it'll be curious to see what happens.
Yeah, there's room for interpretation.
Yeah.
I would say.
Do y'all think that this is going to cause friction with Chapel? Or are they going to do like a little love triangle type story? We saw her in those promos talk about. I guess she didn't talk about it, but just we can infer that she has like those feelings for Spock as early as the show.
It might. I mean, nobody would love a love triangle on Enterprise more than me. But I think that Spock is going to handle his feelings towards anyone that he might have them for. I think he's going to handle them like a proper gentleman, and he's not going to date two women at the same time. I think he's going to choose the one that he wants to be with, and he's going to politely let down the other one.
I don't think he's going to choose either one of them because just based on knowing the
his
original
personality.
series Spock, but
Right.
I'm hoping that this is a period of like another sort of like sexual renaissance among Federation citizens, like sort of like the sexual revolution was in the 60s for some parts of the world. So I'm hoping that's what's going on, and we'll just see a lot of strange combinations and things that we didn't expect from our characters and stuff like that. You know, I am glad though to see that I'm glad to see that they're going to be visiting familiar places and putting new twists on them, because I kind of think that's a great thing that the show can do.
our friend Aaron,
but
aka
is it
Geek Filter
T'Pring?
in the audience is asking, and I think it is. That was kind of a rumor a while back that T'Pring was going to be in the show, and it was going to be this actress playing her. So I think it is. But what I also think is pretty interesting from Tejesh Patel is saying, what about Leela Kalami? Didn't Spock meet her on Earth in 2261? So I would definitely love to see her show up, the love interest from this side of Paradise in the original series. So if this season 1 takes place in 2260, they could get into the Kalami stuff in 2261 in season 2.
Arthur's speculating that this is the formal engagement, like the actual ceremony, perhaps.
Well, they were chosen to be betrothed when they were like 8 years old, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that they're gonna like overtly tell us the start date of when the first season is taking place, like in the pilot somewhere?
I think we'll definitely know when the show airs.
Yeah.
They'll probably give us a date at that point.
Okay.
Similar to how Discovery starts off on May 11th, what was the year, Father?
2256.
2256.
56, yeah.
And they say it in the first episode.
Okay, so you think we're gonna get something like that for Strange New World? Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the writers and producers on this show are going to be as transparent as they've been on Picard season 2 and Prodigy and some of these other Star Trek shows, because I like to just be able to ask questions like that, like, hey, what year is season 1, and get straight answers. So hopefully we can find out. Maybe we can ask someone in Chicago. I don't know who's going to be on that Strange New World panel. It's just Anson Mount, right? Maybe he knows.
He might know.
I mean, a lot of actors don't really keep up with those details, but we have some swashbuckling action with Ortega's. So
That's cool.
She's
Yeah,
like
it's
the
very
Sulu.
cool.
She's going to be the
Yeah.
helmsman and the sword fighter of the crew.
What combat training do you have? Fencing. Yes.
But again, this, it's fun to see this character, do some weird, unusual stuff. I think she's going to be the lighthearted, fun one based on the.
Is that
previous
Hammer in the
promo.
background there?
Yeah, it looks like we have Hemmer, and I think maybe is that Mbenga next to him? They're kind of so far away and out of focus; it's hard to tell.
And it's the Enterprise. It looks like the Enterprise's corridor just decorated. If you look at the shape of it, how it has the one flat side and the one like kind of angular side, and those look like modern Enterprise corridor struts, and just like with flowers and lanterns put in between.
Yeah.
them.
So has the ship been taken over by the Renaissance planet people?
Like, do they have the power to like Renaissance your ship, like to like transmute it, or things like that? I mean, there were wild things like that on TOS, like where and we saw the one ship transforming in Lower Decks. So who knows?
You know what, Father? I think you're right. Her hair is too long to be number
It's
one.
too curly, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
too
it's
long
too
too.
curly.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think I just got my hopes up too much for that one.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to see them as friends and see that way they're open to explore other romantic interests, but they're definitely
apart from one another.
definitely going to be exploring someone with Pike, as seen here. They wanted to show that off in the trailer. But yeah, Uhura says maybe we shouldn't touch anything here, whatever that golden orb was.
The golden egg. That's where Adam is from. I'm just kidding. What's his name? Right? The Marvel character.
Adam Warlock.
Adam
Adam
Warlock.
Warlock. He's
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. Yeah. That's the birth of Adam Warlock right there.
But I think this might be on the surface of that comet after they
Oh,
crawl
like they
around
go
on there.
inside,
'Cause-
yeah, it
yeah,
has
because like
similar
Uhura was there in the environmental
similarities.
suits. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but yeah, maybe don't touch anything there.
Don't touch.
Oh, further evidence that the ship has been taken over by the Renaissances. There's a scene of someone picking up a bow in sickbay.
That's
and
number
sickbay's-
1. Yeah.
Oh, it's number 1 picking up
Oh,
a bow.
it's
yeah.
right here. I didn't realize it was in
Yeah.
sick bay. But yeah, there's plant life everywhere.
Yeah, so maybe it could this be the virus thing that's going around? Is it a
I
Renaissance
think this is going to be
virus?
something else, but
Yeah.
it's infecting the ship and not people, perhaps.
Yeah, it's interesting. Very wild.
Aaron is saying, according to IMDb, the little prince or princess character is in 3 episodes.
Huh.
So there might be a little bit of an arc, but I'm also always kind of skeptical with IMDb because they get a lot of stuff right, but they also get stuff wrong until it actually airs, and then they're able to correct it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, our friend Ian Dadmiral_UK is saying Saru has been decorated.
Yeah, so Rue had all the plant life in his quarters on Discovery.
Saru has been decorated.
This is interesting. This scene here with Pike and Spock, and I guess Pike is having a drink of some whiskey or something there. And if you watch the Pike promo that came out yesterday, that we talked about on the stream yesterday, it looks like Spock might be his confidant, which is interesting.
That's
That,
very cool.
the friendship they're suggesting there, and
And
has a
fitting,
big
I
payoff
suppose,
in the original
yeah.
series and
Yeah, I
the
guess.
menagerie.
No, I mean, them developing a friendship like this, a close knit friendship, makes sense because of what you just said. Because Spock wouldn't do what he did for Pike if he didn't have strong feelings for him in the menagerie. I mean, Spock almost torpedoes his career for one guy, and this really shows you what a respect he could develop for Pike in this series. He will develop for Pike, not he could have. The type of respect that he will develop for Pike in the series really shows off in the original series about how he almost torpedoes his career.
Yeah, he was willing to hijack the Enterprise to go help this dude out.
Right, yeah.
So that's some pretty hardcore loyalty.
Yeah. Hey, we got a high-res photo of a phaser later on for Brian, who was wondering about what the new phasers look like. We got a nice close-up.
Cool.
This is something I was actually talking to Aaron about earlier today. But if you look at these structures above the main building
they're
here,
floating. Yeah,
so it is very Stratos looking.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I mean, this might be a different place than Renaissance Planet. It might be the same place. I don't know.
Like, I mean, why? I mean, would there be something so bad about it being actually the Stratus place? Or
No, Stratos kind of looked more like towers that were more modern, I suppose, and this looks a little more antique-like. But
Stratos did have a little bit of like an old world feeling to it.
I guess so.
We'll be discussing the Cloud Miners soon on the Starfleet Boy Saturday streams.
Yep.
So that'll be coming up soon. The Trek reviewer in our live audience is asking, I wonder if Pike is going to have a yeoman. And they certainly could do that. I think just to get rid of like the secretary bringing them the coffee vibe, I would have like maybe have like a guy be the yeoman. He's just like a young enlisted man on the ship.
No, but
can I be the yeoman? I want to be the young. Well, I'm not that young, but I want to be the enlisted man dude who brings Pike his coffee.
And
why not?
I'll wear the mini skirt.
Yeah. Please God, no. I would rather them not do that because as I'm reviewing the original series right now, I find it very off-putting that there's a woman bringing the captain coffee and food. I'm like, really? Come on. But that's just me personally.
I'm okay with him having like, some type of assistant or aid.
Yeah.
Aid is probably a good word. An aid.
Aid is okay.
We'll make it like less like old school 20th century, like you have like the big boss man and his cute secretary.
Right.
That he sexually harasses all the time. Like, let's try to avoid that archetype if possible.
Right.
We've seen this shot before, but it's nice to see it again.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are playing dress up with Renaissance Planet people. We've seen Leon and Benga, Hemmer.
This is an interesting
number one
thing.
Uhura.
Any resemblance to anything, that logo in the background or anything that we've seen before?
I have no idea what that is. It's framed very cool. I wonder how long it took the cameraman the choreographer to set up the shot. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And I think these are some of those space pirates. This one dude almost looks Reman.
Space pirates.
I don't know if they could get away with having a Reman show up on the show, but
that would be interesting if they did, though. But yeah, you're right.
I don't know what the hairy dude next to him is. Pike's having a good time.
He's not a Klingon. He's green. This might be something to do.
I bet he's Orion. Yeah, that hand is super green.
Yeah. The one ship also doesn't it look a lot like the Orion ships in the animated
But that was
series?
the weird dude. This is blasphemy. Your presence here is blasphemy.
Well, they could be mixing and matching two different things. So
a lot of people online did think it looked like the remastered Orion ship from Journey to Babel. I was like, maybe. Yeah. I was never like convinced of that.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, who knows? It could be anything.
And again, go watch our promo stream from yesterday. But we saw in there that there are pirates coming on board the Enterprise, and apparently a comet hitting a planet is a thing that's going to happen. I don't know, that could be something else.
Look at that. This is the shuttlecraft, I'm assuming, and it has that cool black circle thing.
Yeah, that little orb screen that folds out, that kind of pivots out on that arm.
Yeah, so I think that's great that they did that. Although the interior looks wildly different from what we've seen, but also
I mean,
somehow similar.
Also, but I appreciate that there's actually knobs and little things on the
Yeah.
dashboard, because in the original series,
Tactile buttons.
Yes,
instead of
tactile
touch
buttons.
screens.
Thank you. In the original series, in the shuttle pods looked very, very sparse to me and empty. So I appreciate the little tactile buttons and the things in the back there.
Yeah, and as I pointed out previously, probably a good idea if you have a blind engineer, because I don't know if Himmer is going to be able to use touch screens. He might have a workaround for that, but definitely like tactile physical buttons that you can detect just with your hand is probably the way to go for him with his blindness.
Yeah, I think,
even though he seems very capable.
Yeah, I think Hemmer is going to be a standout, maybe a fan favorite with all the shit that he's probably going to do.
Yeah. He was my favorite character promo.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed now that I think about it. We didn't get to see more of him here, but
Yeah.
hopefully he has a lot to do on the show.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be like the Scotty character. He's always like fixing every engineer has to
I think
be.
the other thing that I think the show is going to do very well is I think that we're going to actually get to know the people a lot better who work on the ship. I don't think it's going to be like Discovery. I think we're going to get a chance to meet every one of our main cast and a lot of the supporting cast on the crew.
Agreed.
And I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and some of them do feel like a little archetypal. Like Leon kind of feels, she's like the stern soldier security officer.
Yeah.
Kind of like Worf. We kind of have Ortega's going to be like kind of more like the lighthearted one who cracks jokes every now and then, a little cocky pilot, like little like Tom Paris maybe. Mbenga's the passionate doctor, whatever. Just go on down the list. However, that does give them some dimensionality, which a lot of the Discovery Bridge crew. Which now when they try to force Reese and Bryce and Detmer and Owasakun and like to have like these big moments in the show now, I almost feel like they kind of should stop doing that, because it's like like these people actually like don't fit into these stories as organically as you're trying to just beat them into there. Because I think it was just people on the internet saying like, we need more of the Bridge crew, and now that we're actually getting more of the Bridge crew on that show, I'm like, did we really need this after all? But they're taking the more classic traditional Star Trek approach here with Strange New Worlds.
And I think I mean just from the character promos, I think Leon is going to be my favorite, the security chief, because I think that she looks awesome, and I can't wait to see her interact with the crew and all the aliens and things like that. I think she's going to be my standout favorite. I also am going to like Chapel quite a bit. I'm a big Chapel fan. So
yeah, I did not realize how much I needed sassy Chapel, like I said yesterday, until I saw that promo.
That's gonna
because
be cool.
TOS Chapel had zero personality, so I felt like they had like a blank slate to do whatever they wanted with her, and I'm glad that they're doing something. Speaking of that phaser, though, look at this beauty.
There it is. Yeah, you get a good look at it, and you get another good look at it with Pike coming up in a few sequences.
And we get to see Una sporting some old school '60s retro hair.
I am really digging that phaser. I kind of want that model of that phaser. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Please, Playmates, make a toy of this.
Yes.
A good one. Like a pretty faithful looking mold.
I do think that the Discovery phaser was more spot on to that earlier era with the three things, but I still love it. I still like the new phaser.
Right, it took those three little knobs in the front that's on the laser pistol that was in the cage.
Right, exactly. It was kind of a similar design.
So they changed the tip of it here, and they repainted it to look more like the TOS
with
light
the blue,
gray color.
with the gray, the grayish
blue or gray, whatever
and
color
the
that
silver,
is.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh, and I'm super excited to see Una's backstory and to learn a little bit more about her as well. So
yeah, are they going to do what the novels did, where she was raised on a world of logical aliens, kind of like Vulcan-like, and that's why they describe the Telosians describe her as being like a computer. She has a computer mind. And they
She's
called
like a
her number
mentat.
one because she was like first in her class or something on that. So
Oh,
she was like
okay.
always number one before she was first officer. But
Right.
And
I
her
was
name's
almost
Una.
like I didn't want them to like ever say her name, but that
So-
ship has gone to warp. So yeah, she's
Yeah.
Una Chin Riley. What does Chin
No.
Riley mean? Like, is she married? Does she have like the hyphenated name with her husband or wife or whoever?
No, but but I mean, I don't know what it is about me, but I like people that have like three three names. I think that's a very very cool thing. So I mean, that's just me, but I'm very interested to find out, about her because I've unfortunately I haven't read any novels about her. So this will be my first time learning about her history,
Yeah.
and I hope that we get something really really fun.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to bring some of these characters back from the original series because we know very little about number one. We know very little of Chapel. We know very little of Mbenga. Pike, we kind of got to know more of him in the Kelvin movies and then in Star Trek Discovery than we ever did with the original series.
Right.
And, Spock, we've seen Spock 1,000 frickin' times at this point, but everyone loves Spock, so just to go ahead and throw him in the mix too. I'm definitely curious to see what angle they go with some of these characters because my whole life people have talked about number one. We don't know much about her, but Majel Barrett said she wishes that she got to play number one as a regular on the original series because that just would have been so fantastic
been
for
fun.
her.
Yeah.
It would have been iconic to have like that early woman first officer, and this woman in like this position of authority on the Enterprise. Audiences probably would have really dug that, and it would have been very groundbreaking in 1966. She didn't get the chance to do that. Instead, she had to play Nurse Chapel, and here they're able to give number one the screen time that
And
should have
She
had.
never got. I love that
And-
Rebecca Romijn gets to do it because I like her interpretation of this character a lot. So
Oh.
I'm glad.
Aaron's also pointed out we don't know much about Uhura either. And I think out of all of the 7 core TOS characters, Uhura is the one that has been the least explored and the
Yeah.
most underserved. And,
Yeah.
in the movies and everything after the movies, they never brought her back for anything. At least Chekhov got to show up in Generations. Scotty and Spock were on TNG. Shatner got to come back in Generations. But Sulu was on Voyager. They never brought back Uhura.
Yeah, it's true.
And I love the fact that we're gonna get to see Una. Just one more note about Una. I love the fact that she's gonna get to actually go on away missions now, because I was so angry in my review of The Cage that Pike told her to stay on the ship. I wanted to hit him. I was like, let her go, let her go.
Well, she goes down to blast the door with that big phaser cannon later.
Yeah, that is one thing, but I don't know. I love the design of the overall white corridors here.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a little bit of like that Kelvin Apple Star,
Apple
Store,
Store.
yeah. Apple
whiteness.
Store. Yeah.
I think I actually preferred the way the Enterprise corridors looked on Discovery Season 2, where they're just the Discovery corridors with that red grating hanging up. But these look good too. I like it. We pointed out yesterday, Brian and Aaron, I think both mentioned that this feels a little bit more like the motion picture design aesthetic. And I definitely see that. In post-motion picture, they kind of kept this style architecture. Even the Enterprise D had these similar shapes and angles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's that whatever's happening to the ship.
Yeah,
It's
this
very
is a dude getting shot with an arrow by Una. So she's also number one at archery.
That's cool. That's so
That should be like a running joke. Like she's
just number one at
yeah,
everything.
Number
she's
one.
just number one at everything.
Her sister's name is Dua, like
Dua.
number 2.
Yeah, she has her sister's gonna be a recurring villain because she's bitter. She always comes in second place to number one. She always comes in second place to Una. She's like, I'll get you next time, sister. No, don't do that. That's a stupid idea.
Yeah, we should, yeah. We should make signs like Una's number one. Una's number one.
Any final thoughts on this? The ship to ship combat that
That
who was it?
was
Joel
cool.
was pointing out,
Yeah,
and Spock in bed with T'Pring. So definitely Ponfar action.
I'm really happy about seeing Spock in bed with
who we think
anyone.
is
So yeah, so let's go.
Yeah, and I keep saying it, but I love
This is-
the John Eves redesign of this Enterprise, and I'm so excited to see it in action. Look at these beautiful space
that
combat
thing.
shots.
That thing looks so similar to a ship that we would have seen in like TOS or something. I really like the design of that ship.
Well, we were just saying how it looks a little similar to the Orion ship in Journey to Babel in the remaster.
Yeah, in the remaster, but
Yeah.
Actually, I had the remaster. I should look at that.
that is it's a big ship. You know, it kind of dwarfs our little Enterprise.
Yeah, look
but
at that. That's a cool scaling there.
I like seeing Ortega's do some badass maneuvering here. Just every time I see one of these trailers and I see this, because it is very similar to the same shapes of the Matt Jeffries design,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah, there's,
love
like-
the Constitution class. I love it, love it, love
it's
it.
a gorgeous ship. Yeah.
I'm such a DS9 fanboy that the Defiant is like in my heart like my favorite spaceship in all of pop culture. But the 1701 Enterprise is like just off by a hair from being just as much as my favorite. And I don't know, maybe Strange New Worlds will push it over the edge.
I think so, Fathery. I also like how a lot of the scenes are like updated versions of angles and stuff that we saw on the original series. Like whenever the Enterprise like banks or like turns, like the camera kind of turns with it a little, and they did a little bit of that in TOS. And I feel like this is a chance for us to see it episodically. We're gonna see a lot of the Enterprise. In other words, I
Seeing
think
it
we're
like
gonna see a lot.
spin upside down like that.
Down,
That's kind of a JJ thing. That's kind of a Kelvin universe thing.
Yeah, that's a JJ move,
Right.
For sure.
Even though it's relative, it's not really spinning, or I mean, it is spinning, but it doesn't really matter in space. But yeah, it's doing maneuvers, which is great.
Maneuvering.
But in our live audience, I'd be curious, what stood out to you in the trailer? What looked the coolest to you out of all the stuff they're showing us? Or what are you most anticipating about the show? What's something you're really looking forward to? I know our friend PJ Boatwreck in the live audience, he's saying the music in the trailer is so good, especially the first half. And yeah, I saw someone else point out that they really enjoyed the music. And we have Sohel, remind me her name. I'm so bad at remembering this, but
Oh, hang on one second. I'm getting a weird FaceTime message. Wait, whose name am I reminding you of?
the composer from Prodigy.
Oh, Nami Malamud.
What's the last name?
I think it's Malamud or Malamud. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Malamud.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I need to get that right. I need to remember that.
Shout out to Nami. She's cool. She does a great job on Prodigy. I listen to that soundtrack often.
But they throw in like an old school. What do you call it? It makes that weird sound. That
A remix.
Oh, theremin. It sounds
theremin,
like.
yeah,
There's
theremin.
a theremin. Yep. Yeah, it does sound like that at the end of the trailer. It's very cool.
Dun, dun, dun.
Jill 47 says, if at least half the episodes are good, I'll be happy. And that is one of the cool things about episodic format is if you do have like a terrible episode, it doesn't pull down the rest of the season. It's not all like this one big storyline. So you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
What if they blow it in the finale and they drop the ball and they're not able to wrap all this up? I mean, you don't have to worry about this.
They're not gonna blow it. I have faith in Akiva Goldsman. I don't think they're gonna blow it.
Well, I'll tell you what's an advantage of the show is that they had a delay into going into production here.
Yeah,
with, because
they
of
had a
COVID.
massive delay.
So they had a long time to really punch up these 10 scripts. And I actually think Discovery Season 4 and Picard Season 2 both benefited from the same thing. I feel like they had stronger writing in these newer seasons than they had previously and a little bit more time to plan and structure things out. So hopefully that is an advantage that this show also benefits from.
I think it will, and I hope they'll keep that in mind when launching a show from now on. Maybe give it another, maybe do that, pre-production work for a little longer than you normally would under normal times, just to give that extra time. I think it's the rewards are exponential.
Our friend Arthur is saying the thing he's looking forward to is the bed action from the two leads. So, fun will now commence, saying during a test screening of The Cage, many women had a negative reaction to seeing a woman on the bridge, which is one of the reasons why NBC removed Majel Barrett's character. That's what some people have said, but I think some of the stuff I've read recently, so it might have had more to do with NBC not wanting Gene Roddenberry's, at the time, girlfriend to be a regular on the show. But But yeah, NBC definitely like did not want her there, which is unfortunate, I think. And Boatwreck says
there's
he's
a
looking
lot of
forward
layers.
to the episodic format.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't mind the serialized format myself, but episodic is something that I'm used to and that I don't mind seeing on Star Trek at all.
No, I think this Strange New Worlds TV show is going to be the great unifier. It's going to be the great unifier for a lot of people who aren't necessarily thrilled with Discovery or Picard. I think this is going to bring a lot of people back and going to make a lot of people go, "Oh, thank God." I might be wrong about that, but who knows?
And people really want to talk about like Spock in bed. Matt Deckard. Would have been cool if it was Matt Decker, but Matt Deckard in our live audience is asking, is Spock a degenerate Vulcan? Will he push forth the Vulcan sexual revolution? Well, I guess we'll find out starting May 5th.
I think Spock will surprise us as we explore more about him. I do think it's gonna. I do think that like the show is gonna bring back that sexiness, because I think TOS has like a sexiness to it.
For sure. Yeah, they were definitely trying to push the envelope.
The envelope a little bit.
The very first
like
episode of Star Trek ever made basically had like this guy who's locked up in this room saying, "You can live out sexual fantasies with any of these women. Pick the one you want."
Pick the one.
That was like the story of the very first Star Trek episode ever.
That's true.
I can attest to that.
So yeah, I think in less cringy ways they'll bring back that sexiness and kind of push the envelope there as well. Yeah.
Well, Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be bringing the sexy back May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, same day as our Picard finale. So very
drinks up.
Very big day. Yeah, we're gonna have a big celebration. I'm actually like cooking fajitas at my house. I'm
That's awesome.
inviting some people over. Gonna drink some Dos Equis. So,
Father, now that they released this full trailer before Mission Chicago, what else is there to do at Mission Chicago? Like, what are they gonna show us?
Show a clip from an episode.
Yeah, I hope we get that clip.
Or
the one they were talking about. We don't know if the pilot's going to be shown because the panel's only 40 something. Yeah, or the
technically
or the first
not a pilot because they've already ordered the entire
pilot
season.
Yeah, exactly. The pilot already happened like 50 some odd years ago, but
yeah, the cage was the pilot.
The pilot, yeah.
First episode then.
But it looks like the timing is not going to be. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anything could happen, but I don't know. Father and I are keeping our expectations low, so we're not disappointed either way, right, Father?
No. there might be some news that breaks Tuesday on First Contact Day. If there is, we're going to be doing another live stream Tuesday evening to talk about that. And then we're going to be doing a lot of content out of Chicago. I'm going to do some streams. I'm going to do some little short YouTube short updates,
like you did on the cruise. That was cool.
Just let people know what's going on. I'm going to be hanging out with this dude, Starfleet Boy, and our friends Braxton and Trek on the 2. We're having a meetup 7:30 p.m. April 9th at the Arc Bar at the Hyatt. If you were there in Chicago, please come meet up with us. We'd love to chill with you and hang out. And the Tex-Trek podcast is live on YouTube every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central, talking about the latest episodes of Star Trek with a deep dive. Right now, we're doing every episode of Picard every week on Fridays, and you can also listen to that as a podcast wherever you get your podcast Monday mornings. Starfleet Boy and Marcelo, if you want to tell anyone what you have going on in y'all's world, Starfleet Boy, what do you got going on?
Sure. You can follow us you can follow me on Starfleet Boy. If you do a search for Starfleet Boy on Google, you'll find all the things there. But please follow us on YouTube and on Twitter. We have Thursday night space, a Picard space on Twitter that you can join along and have fun talking about Picard. Anyone can come on stage and share their thoughts via voice if they want to, or you can just be a listener. Then after Tex-Trek on Thursdays, we do a TQIF thing where Marcelo kicks it off with a little review of TOS. Tex-Trek goes on right after, and then late night we do Starfleet Boy After Dark. Saturdays we do a TOS discussion, which we're almost wrapping up. We're halfway through season 3. And then Sundays we do a Picard deep dive, so check that out.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff, so I'll just say if you want to check out any of the glorious stuff that I do, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at CreekFanatic88, and there you can find links to everything I do. But I just want to say a quick thanks to those of you who have been checking out my original series episode reviews that I do on Friday to kick off TQIF. I really, really appreciate that. And you guys are wonderful. Thank you guys so, so much. And it was a great pleasure to be back here on Tex-Trek. I haven't been here in a while, so it was great fun, guys.
Well, happy to have you on board. And until next time, as always, everybody, live long and prosper, y'all.